AMD is crushing it in terms of CPU sales. They have been dominating Intel in some recent data that we got from Amazon, which shows that the Ryzen chips from AMD are crushing it. Thanks to the 9800 X3D that released late last year, and along with the other Ryzen 7 and Ryzen 9 chips, they are dominating Intel. The 9800 X3D and the recently released 9950 X3D have been heralded for its remarkable gaming performance and its overall great productivity performance. But there are some problems that are starting to creep up with the AMD 9800 X3D chips. We have heard about these chips starting to fail within a relatively short period of time, within a couple of hours to a few months. And that is not boding well for AMD at this point. What is causing a problem? Well, we will take a look at that. So in this video, we're going to take a look at how well AMD is crushing in the CPU sales, as well as take a look at what the problems are with some of these CPU chips. But before we dive deep into all the information, if you're new to this channel and enjoy staying up to date with the latest content, you've landed at the right place. Do me a huge favor, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and if you enjoy this type of content, hit that like button. All right, let's dive into this. So I have a trio of articles out of TechSpot, techspot.com, that is going to talk about all of these things. They've been doing a pretty good job of covering this, so we're going to go over that. AMD moves 3 times more CPUs than Intel, rakes in 5 times the revenue on Amazon. So let's go into this. So Amazon CPU sales figures for March, provided by user Tech Ifany, revealed that AMD sold 31,600 processors last month, while Intel managed just 7,500. That relates to 78% market share for AMD versus 21% only for Intel. AMD dominance is also reflected in revenue. It generated 7.8 million on the platform, approximately 420% more than Intel's 1.5 million. So AMD is crushing it right now. Just as I alluded to, it has been the CPU of choice for people who also want to do some great gaming, as well as you want to handle productivity, like with Office products, even your Adobe suite of products. It does a really good job at that. Intel has got some work to do, as like I say here, AMD is crushing it. Now, these numbers are only from Amazon, but it would be, I would not be surprised if these numbers would be similar when you look at other markets, say places like Best Buy or B&H Photo or Newegg, even Micro Center for those of you who can go to that. I would think that those sales are probably will be very similar in those places as well. So it will be pretty interesting to see all those numbers combined and see just how well AMD is actually doing. But let's dive a little bit deeper into this. As you can see here, the number of units here, like I already said, 31,000 versus 7,500 for Intel. The revenue, 7.8 million versus 1.5 million. The average sale price for AMD is at $247, and Intel is at $209. So AMD is crushing it. And let's take a look at this chart right here. We can see at the first 3 spots on the chart all go to AMD. The number 1 CPU should be no surprise. It is the Ryzen 7 9800 X3D. Again, that's retail from anywhere from like $479. It got higher because it was out of stock for so long. It shows here that it sold 6,000 units again just in March on Amazon.com, followed by the Ryzen 5 5500, then the Ryzen 7 7800 X3D. And then the first Intel chip that shows up is the Intel Core i5 12,400, which sold over 3,000, and that one retails for $116. But the rest of the chart, again here, are almost 80% AMD. You just look down the chart, it's just all AMD, a few Intel sprinkled in, but AMD is crushing it. But like I said before, the CPUs are starting to have some issues. A lot of people are complaining about this thing dying within a few hours into just a few months of usage. Some Ryzen 7 9800 X3D CPUs are dying unexpectedly, mostly on the ASRock motherboards. And we're going to find out what the problem is. So a Reddit user had compiled a list of 108 Reddit posts. I think that number is up to 115 now, involving the Ryzen 7 9800 X3D that died. The chips pass post and work for varying amounts of time before dying with no signs of failure. What's interesting is the brand of motherboards these failures occurred on. 98 of the cases, or 82%, happened on the ASRock boards. That's out of the 108 number. Sure, that's a little bit higher now with the 115. Time Hardware notes that the company released a new firmware for the AM5 motherboards in February that improved boot problems in AMD 9000 series CPUs. Whether those issues are related to the dying chips is unclear. So, and if we go over here to Reddit, we can take a look at that. You can see here, like I said, he took the time to actually compile this. This list is up to 115 now, as I stated, and he's documenting when it happened. Some people were saying, again, 2 weeks into it, after 2 months, dead after 2 days. As you can see here, I think there was even one that said within an hour or so after booting it up that, you know, it had the problem. I mean, he did a good job of documented in this. You know, if you want to go and scroll through this list and just take a look at it, you can. It will be linked down in the description below, so make sure you go check that out. And if we get down here to looking at all the numbers that they're compiled, so we have 115 that are dead, 9800 X3Ds, 93 on the ASRock motherboards, 16 on ASUS, 5 on MSI, and 1 on a Gigabit motherboard. And you have some further ones down here, just go down into the actual chipset of the motherboard. But again, if you want to take a look at that. So AMD has responded to that, and we're going to go over and read their message. We are aware of a limited number of user reports involving ASRock AM5 motherboards failing to complete posts. Limited number, yes, it's like we say here, it's only about 115. These are documented on Reddit, but we know that there's probably definitely more that didn't go to Reddit, that probably just went straight to the store, maybe got a refund or a replacement, or just didn't document it, or just tried to fix it, whatever. So even though this is only a small number, it's still enough out there that AMD took aware of it and made a comment about it. Following a joint investigation, AMD and ASRock identified a memory compatibility issue present in earlier BIOS versions, which has been rectified in the latest BIOS. And the company is saying that you should update your BIOS. Now, I recently built a PC using the 9800 X3D, and when I was researching different things about CPUs and about the chip, one of the things it said was make sure you update your BIOS before you even install anything or continue to install any hardware, because that motherboard has been sitting on the shelves with an older firmware or BIOS in there, so you needed to update it so it could work properly. So I'm wondering if that was the case, that they did not patch the BIOS beforehand, but they're saying this is a memory compatibility problem. But again, it could be because of the BIOS version, as they say here. So I'm wondering if that could be the problem. AMD also stated that even though the failure to post can be caused by several factors and does not necessarily indicate a non-functioning CPU. ASRock responded to the news as well and said that the company said that it had inspected a motherboard from a system where the CPU showed burn damage. It claimed there was no burn damage around the mobile or the VRM area. After cleaning and removing debris from the CPU socket, the motherboard booted up successfully with the original BIOS and passed long-term stress tests. I think I have a picture here. Yeah, you can see here. This is one that looks like it had a burn in. But just imagine a scenario where you just bought this CPU, booted up, got your computer all configured, booted up, and within a relatively short period of time, this thing just clunks on you. I know I would be pissed as a MFer if this happened to me. So yeah, even though it's a relatively small number, but if you're one of the 115, this does not seem like a small deal to you. So, and I'm hoping, I'm not sure what's going to be done about it, if AMD is going to step in and try to remedy the situation with the users, or the users are still under warranty, so they should be taken care of. But that is definitely something to keep an eye on. I remember hearing about this maybe about a few days before, about some debris and stuff and CPUs failing, but then we got this information here, which made it, it was definitely a wider spread problem than what we thought it was. But But what do you guys think about this issue with the AMD CPUs? Are you affected by it? Hopefully not. Let me know down in the comment section. Not only are the issues, but also comment about the AMD CPU sales, how they are actually crushing it over Intel right now. Do you think AMD is ready to take on that CPU crown right now, as it shows that their sales, thanks to the 9800, are really dominating right now? Let me know down in the comment section down below. Once again, thank you for taking time out to watch this video. If you're new to this channel and enjoy staying up to date with the latest content, please do me a huge favor. Hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and hit that like button. And also, if you have friends or family that enjoy this type of content, make sure you share this with them because they may enjoy this as well. Also, if you want to stay up to date with the latest tech news, head over to sounds30.com, where I curate and aggregate tech news from around the web, covering Apple, Samsung, Google, Android, computing, and even more general tech news, all at the website sounds30.com. And for even more tech news in video form, check out one of these two videos right here. Until next video, guys, stay nerdy.